Hello, my name is Jillian Rabb, and today we'll be talking about 9/11, and I'll be telling you all I know about it. So, 9/11 happened on September 11th, 2001. On this day, four airplanes were hijacked and crashed into buildings. The planes were hijacked by an Islamic extremist group. Two planes were crashed into the Twin Towers, another into a Pentagon, and the fourth plane was crashed into a field. The first crash we're going to talk about is the crash into the Twin Towers. The first tower to be hit was the North Tower, and this was the very first plane to crash. And at this time, people were freaking out and they were thinking that the plane must have malfunctioned. It was like a complete accident, and everyone was worried. The first plane hit near the 80th floor of the building. But then, 18 minutes after hitting the first tower, a second airplane crashed into the South Tower. At that time, everyone knew it wasn't an accident. People knew these towers were being targeted, and it wasn't good. The second plane crashed near the 60th floor of the building. The next plane crash to happen was at the Pentagon. An hour after the planes hit the Twin Towers, a plane crashed into the Pentagon. It crashed into the west side of the Pentagon. There were over 200 people that were killed in this crash. During the fourth plane crash, it was different. This plane was actually delayed, so they heard on the news about the first and second plane crashes happening at the Twin Towers, so they knew something was going on and freaking out. So when the Islamic group tried to take over the plane, they knew what was happening and they knew that they couldn't just let them win and crash another plane into a building. So the people aboard decided to fight back and decided to try and get this plane crashed someplace other than a building full of hundreds of people. So the people called their family aboard and told them that what was happening and said they're going to fight back because they knew they were going to die either way. So the passengers ended up fighting the terrorists and the plane crashed into a field. There were no survivors. All of the 46 passengers died. No one knows where the fourth plane was actually headed, but there was talk that it was probably headed to the White House. No one can know for sure, but these attacks were targeting things like that. So, as I come to a conclusion, there were 3,000 people during the attack that died, and over 400 police and firefighters died trying to save lives. More than 6,000 people were injured, and after 9/11, security in airports went crazy up. Like before 9/11, the security wasn't that serious, but now you have metal detectors and like things that can scan your whole body to see if you're hiding things in your body to smuggle, and it's just so much safer and a lot more intense, and you have to get to an airport like 2 or 3 hours before your flight just to go through all this crazy security. And now there's a memorial to honor the people of 9/11, and this memorial is located where the Twin Towers used to stand. So it's a good way to go visit and see where the Twin Towers were. And that's where I come to an end for my PowerPoint. Now I want to show you where my notes were for the slides. So here's the notes page, and just how I just trying to start back from the beginning. Talk about the introduction. I came in more detail, and just here are all my notes I kind of made to remember I hit on. And that concludes the presentation for today.